Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. I'm in my car, and you're listening to the most wholesome Nintendo podcast on the internet. It's the Nintendo Drive. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Console Caito, the sauciest potato, and on our journey today, I played Splatoon, and did I like it? I'm not sure, so let's jump on into the Nintendo Drive. Ball! Here we go!
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Caito. Just like old times, I'm on the road. Yeah.
It's weird hearing me in my car and me being able to start the show with the hi, Sean. Yeah, it's weird.
You are back in charge. I am. Yeah. I have no idea what's happening. I'm following a map to McDonald's. I don't know where exactly it is. I'm on vacation, but things are good. It works. This works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for so long. And then, we tried to change things up to, be live on YouTube, youtube.com/carpoolgaming. But it's fun to do these every now and then.
Yeah. Especially when I'm in an area of the country where I guess I get cell phone coverage. And if I'm a little distracted, number one, I haven't done a podcast in a car in a long time. But number two, I'm driving down a street right now. And there's a lot of construction happening here. So there's pylons everywhere to make sure you're not like driving off into the ditch. And all the pylons are knocked over. They're all over the street. Like, I don't know. It's like somebody did it on purpose. I'm not saying they did, but it looks as if we might have a little, delinquent around here somewhere, just knocking things over, making trouble.
Well, don't run into them. No, don't go into the ditch.
I'll give them a piece of my mind. Yeah. I'll probably ask them to join the podcast.
A little guest appearance.
Yeah.
Ask them why they did that.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, well let's clean out the garage a little bit here.
Okay.
Reminder, as always, you can listen to the Nintendo Drive and all of the Carpool Gaming content over on YouTube, youtube.com/carpoolgaming. We have a comment of the week this week, which I feel like we haven't had in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe we did, and I forgot.
No, I checked.
Blah, blah, blah. It's just my favorite username.
I know, it's so good.
Says, the demos for Triangle Strategy and Dragon Quest Builders completely sold me on those games, especially Builders. I was hooked that whole demo and had no expectations from that game. I still cannot get over the fact that a Triangle Strategy demo ever got anyone hooked. I can understand the Dragon Quest Builders, but the Triangle Strategy, I can't fathom. So there's that.
I love it.
We also want to say a thank you to Carla for the super chat at the end of the show last week.
Yeah, post live.
Who says, thanks, love you guys. I think Steam got more airtime than Nintendo, which is probably true.
It's probably true. Get used to it. We're slowly but surely transitioning. We don't launch new podcasts anymore, okay, you guys? We just turn one podcast into another one. That's how we're going to do it. Yes.
We'll probably talk more about that today, too.
That's so funny. Yeah.
PC stuff.
Now people are going to be keeping track. Like there'll be like a counter.
At the end of the day, it's my fault because
I don't know. I encourage it.
Don't find stuff to play on Switch. So
I like it.
But you can also support the show and get early access and exclusive perks at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. And we want to thank Johnathan Zilka for upgrading to the exclusive tier. Sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm the worst.
That sounded better than what I would have said.
Thank you so much for that support. We really appreciate it. But speaking of things that I haven't played or have played, I feel like the elephant in the room is Splatoon 3. And I did not play it.
Oh, no!
I didn't play it. And it didn't help that you said it was bad.
Yeah, I was complaining a lot on Twitter on Saturday. I was
like, well, maybe I should just wait and see if they fix all the things that are not working.
See, I need you to check my whining and complaining a little bit. Because I think that people in the comments are going to do that for me. So maybe it's all right. I think people are going to balance me out.
The other reviews that I heard, everyone else was pretty positive.
Yeah,
about it.
right?
The only things I know, so because I didn't play it, I can't speak on my own experience. I can just talk about what I heard. ARGO did say there were definitely some connection problems with the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And the only positive to that, it was very quick to find a new game,
Yes.
he said. But is that only because of the amount of people that were playing? And what happens when the connection issues are bad and there aren't a lot of people playing?
Right. But the other side is that are the connection issues happening because there's so many people playing? So it's like I don't even know what you can really take from it. Well, I mean, is it overloading this? Like it's not unheard of where like a whole system crashes or whatever or fails because you have so many people playing the game. That's definitely a thing. But who knows with Nintendo? Who knows with this online system?
Right.
What the reason is.
So, okay, connection issues aside, what did you think of the gameplay?
I felt like the gameplay felt like, and I might be just too simple on this to really comment any further than to say it felt like Splatoon to me. It felt very similar to the other games. I did like the 3-way Splatfest. I thought that was pretty good. But I mean, it's still Splatoon. So I don't know. I feel like I need to like state biases or so. I'm so fed up with Nintendo right now that it's like this didn't blow me away, other than to say that I was really happy that a bunch of us were all playing the same game at the same time. And I liked the rivalry that was instantly generated with the Splatfest. We haven't had one of those in a long time. And personally, I felt quite attached to Team Rock. I'm just going to say, and Team Rock won, of course, which we'll get to. But it's Splatoon, and I'm so conflicted on this, Caito. Like, I just don't know what to do with myself because Splatoon is a great game. But I've been looking for some specific things in Splatoon 3 that I don't think that are there. So I'm like, this gets into me being more of my pain in the ass kind of principled gamer instead of just playing games because they're super fun and everybody else is playing them and I should just jump in and who cares about the specifics, you know?
Right. Well, Andros has a theory.
Mm-hmm.
Andros says, I think there are two Seans, one that loves Nintendo and another one that hates Nintendo. Maybe it's like a podcaster Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Yeah.
Or you have an identical twin brother and are pulling the Prestige type situation. That would explain how you do all your podcasts every week.
That would explain it. Yeah.
So
I mean, now we have to kill Andros though, because he's found out.
I guess I'm speaking to the one that hates Nintendo today.
Oh man, yeah, for the last couple of weeks too, I think. But I feel like I don't know. Maybe I feel like you and I are aligned in this way, but I don't know. Maybe not. Like it's been a rough year, I would say. And there's a few of us. Maybe Drew Agnew. I don't want to throw him under the bus.
Has it been? Because okay, here's the thing.
Maybe not.
Because we say that. And like when you first said it, I was like, yeah, it has. But has it? Like, what are we expecting? That's what sometimes I need to take a step back and think about my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many games have to blow me away per year for me to be content? Because at the end of the day, I'm to blame because I'm the one who buys all of it.
Oh, that is Nintendo manipulation at its finest. Like it's your fault for being fooled into buying games that are subpar and launched with few features and sequels that come out that haven't fixed the major things that would make the quality of life of the game that much better. That's classic Nintendo. Oh my Caito. Listen here.
But is it just because maybe those games aren't for me? Like maybe I need to take a step back and realize, hey, I just don't like Triangle Strategy, for example. The game's not for me.
Okay.
And I bought it.
That I can understand. Yeah.
But
I'm talking about like Nintendo Switch Sports or Strikers, of course. Oh, it like
I didn't play Strikers.
I'm just a little wary, I guess, of, and I'm not sure if Splatoon's fair to say it's going to happen here, but there's been a couple games that have come out this year that seem to be designed to galvanize a community and have a whole bunch of people playing together. And we do for about maybe 14 hours. And then there's just a game that we we paid full price for, and they just kind of sit. So I'm a little nervous about that with Splatoon, although that like I really shouldn't be on that notion. I'm more nervous I'll just be pissy with it more often than not.
What was the last game that you feel like successfully did that?
Launched that we actually played a bunch.
That we played for an extended like weeks together.
Oh, it's like probably Splatoon 2 or Mario Kart, like something like that. I like it should be Strikers too. Like it's so funny that it's not. I'm not. Yeah, it should be Strikers. But what I was trying to say is, Smash should be Smash. I can't believe we don't play Smash more in the community. To be honest with you,
true.
But like that's just Smash. It. Like Nintendo doesn't have really a lot of. As much as it brings people together, it's so odd that we don't have more games that we play as a community together. And I think that's why everybody's excited about Splatoon, because it is a little bit more rare these days. And this one seems like a guarantee. Everybody's going to buy it. Everybody's acknowledging maybe some of the shortcomings, but they're like, whatever, we're buying it day one anyways.
True.
And this is where I go, this is my pain in the butt kind of principle. Like, I'm not going to buy it. And I don't know if I feel that way, but I don't know if I'm ready to 100% commit, because it's a statement. We've been here before,
so funny because you're not gonna not buy it. Like that's just the silliest statement.
You think so? See, yeah. And then now I hear that and it's like, challenge accepted, Caito. Are you buying it? Like, what are you doing?
Well, Joey Splats agrees with me.
Yeah, okay.
And says, with how much I'm loving Xenoblade, how busy I am with the wedding, I'm going to skip Splatoon for now and get it at Christmas. I'll probably do a Sean Capri and say I'm not getting it and then get it anyway. Which I'm getting it because I'm just a glutton for punishment.
Oh,
so
man.
I'm going to buy it because here's my thing. And I think we've talked about this countless times.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get it now, I won't get to have any good experiences with it. Because
you don't you think that?
Yes, because now is the time when everyone's going to be jumping in. And then do I want to play it as it's fizzling out? No.
How quick do you think it's going to fizzle out though?
Oh, I mean, for the hardcore Splatoon players, it'll last a long time.
Right.
For the casual player, I think it'll fizzle out around November. Yeah. And then it'll get some resurgence after Christmas when people get it again.
Yeah.
And then a couple months.
Oh, man. I feel like we just go around this track so many times. And that's like you're almost at the point. Like you're almost at exactly where my mind is at. Where it's like, yeah, you buy these games so that you can be there on day one that weekend. And everybody's like, oh my gosh. But to Joey's exact point, we didn't really get around to chatting about it, but I spent about 6 hours on the drive over to where we are now playing Xenoblade. Chelsea likes to drive, so I get to sit in the passenger seat and play Switch the whole time. Yeah. So I played a bunch of Xenoblade, and I'm back in, and I'm loving it. And I didn't see... Look, I was just complaining the whole time on Saturday about a bunch of stuff. One of the things being, once I enter into matchmake into a game, I'm stuck. So if I'm just hitting A, going yeah, whatever, go on to the next game, I'm stuck matchmaking the thing. Even though I can go see that Rebecca from Nintendo Shack is off playing another game and I could join her game, but I can't because I'm stuck matchmaking a different game, or anybody else I could join their game. Just while I was sitting there for 200 seconds because it counts it in the corner how long you're waiting for the next match to start up. And I'm like, I could just stop matchmaking here if you'd let me, and then go do the thing and join Rebecca's thing. That would be way better.
Right.
But
interesting.
It's not the case, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wonder why it locks you in like that.
Well, because Skinny Matt made a good point in our conversation about it as well, because he's like, if you quit the matchmaking, then it leaves the team with only 3 people.
But it would have time to put another person in there.
You would think, every other game does
think
this.
About Halo.
I get it.
When the searching thing, you can back out at any time, and it just repopulates another person in there.
Yep. Yeah. During the game even too. It doesn't even have to be locked in at the start. I know these are short matches and whatnot. But that was definitely a bit of a pain. I didn't see any option to party like we were kind of looking for. So I don't see that option to go in as a group. If I am going to join somebody, like these are things that I was looking for that aren't there. And I'm still hearing the classic things online. People saying like, well, maybe it's just a test fire thing. And I'm at the point where I'm not.
They would have it in there, right?
I agree. Like I'm not going to buy it thinking, oh, maybe it'll come later. I just, I can't
so wait,
do it.
You join the same way and it's the same thing where they just put you on different teams.
Mm-hmm. And I guess like maybe part of it is Splatfest because you have to be on the same team. Like you have to have picked rock, paper, or scissors.
Right. So
I'm
like
not
say
sure.
We both join. Okay. So say I'm going to give a couple hypotheticals here.
Oh, hang on a second. Hi there. Can I please get a large coffee with 2 Splenda, please? And can I get Pokemon cards by themselves or do I have to buy the Happy Meal? The Pokemon cards, can I buy them by themselves or do I have to get them with a Happy Meal? No, you can pick by yourself. Oh, can I get 2 packs then, please? Yep. Thank you. That's all. Thank you. I was expecting to have to buy a Happy Meal just now. I'm not gonna lie. They let me buy 2 packs all by themselves.
Nice.
See, this is how you do it. Just let people do what they want. You know? I just want to buy some Pokemon cards. And I'm probably gonna have to give them to my kids, but
all right. So say we both were on Team Rock.
Yes.
And we joined at the same time.
Yes.
We would obviously go on the same team together because that would be the only option.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay.
But I would have to start a game first. Then. I would have to start. It's the same as it was before. I would have to start a game first and you would join me hoping that there's room, that the game I joined isn't full already. Like I had and I will say it is kind of nice. You can look at, thanks to Tony Baker for directing me to a spot where you can look at all your friends and kind of see what they're doing. But I had a big list of people. Everybody's playing Splatoon this weekend. And it's like, not joinable. Like everybody I couldn't join their game. It showed that they were online, but for one reason or another, it was not joinable. So that's kind of frustrating.
Don't like that.
Right?
That's
so
really
bad. This is where I'm at. Like this is what I was focused on with it. I wasn't necessarily, the game itself.
I do think we have some positive reviews from the community. Let's while you finish getting your coffee, let me go through some of these here.
Thank you.
So we're not just pooping on Splatoon the whole time. So Balza says, I played about 8 hours during the Splatfest. I had bought Splatoon 2 when I got my Switch in 2017, but I didn't get it as I was just getting back into gaming. I also didn't have friends to play with, so I decided this demo would be my deciding factor. I'm 100% sold. I'd say less than 10% of matches had any connection issues. I think that's pretty good for the number of people that were probably trying to play. Most online games tank right at release.
Yeah.
Of course, there were things that made me say, oh, Nintendo, and shake my head. But overall, I had a blast. I pre-ordered. Yeah. And then TPR says, I thought the Tricolor Turf War was surprisingly awesome. Only underwhelming part of the Splatfest was the Splatana is more boring than I thought it would be. Yeah. What did you guys think? I didn't play it, so I have no comment on that. But and then we had the one from Joey who's going to wait until Christmas.
Yeah.
So I think the majority of people are pretty pumped about this.
Mm-hmm.
And we are just the negative Nellies over here.
We're telling a story over here, okay? This is all part of the play. A good narrative needs a good arc. You need to have a turn of some sort. True. And the other thing, this did remind me that I think it was on the very first Splatoon, when they first revealed the game itself, I was like, this is such a good idea. And thank goodness Nintendo is doing something fresh and, pardon the pun. And a lot of people were upset at that point. And we did a flip-flop where most people didn't like the original reveal, but then loved the test fire. And I was the opposite. I loved the reveal and I wasn't sure about the test fire. And this reminds me that sometimes a beta isn't for me, like a demo or a test version of it. And so I want to keep that in mind as well. And maybe this is me just kind of like prepping to buy it on day 3 instead of day 1. But I feel like I'm just not there day one yet. I might want to leave this to other people. And I guess where I'm at with that is on just the podcasting side of it, where I definitely have felt like a obligation to like just buy, and a playful obligation, not anything I'm really stressing out about. But like I should buy the game day one. We talk about it on the show, and like who cares? You know, I'm lucky enough to be able to afford these games as they come out and all of that stuff. So part of me buying the games over the last year or so and not caring about it has been with that in mind. But then I look back on it and go like, man, that's not no money. That's some money that we've spent over the year. Yeah. So
you're stealing my idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my whole concept is just to wait for you to buy it.
Oh, no. You're like, I've really been enjoying this fact that you just buy the games
you
first.
just buy them all and then I don't have to. Yeah, it's great.
That's how you know, you guys. Like, we're not a bought and sold podcast. We get nothing from Nintendo. We get press releases. That's it.
Right.
Thanks, Nintendo.
Like always after the show too.
Totally. It's like,
we find out everything after the show and then have to talk about it a week late.
Exactly. So we just go to whatever, nintendolife.com for our news.
Oh my gosh. Well,
so
okay,
we'll see. Do I have to like declare what I'm doing at this point? Because I feel like that's part of the game.
I don't think so.
Okay. Because I don't think I'm doing it, but who knows?
When does it come out again? September
9th. I think it's September 9th.
Okay, so we'll have one more show to talk about it.
Yeah.
If so maybe next week we declare what our intentions are, and then we figure out if we actually go through with it or not.
Okay. Were you waiting for me to buy it and tell you? Is that like literally
no, this one I'm like
game?
This one I'm 99% sure I'm going to buy it day one.
Like, did you get what about the Switch itself? Like, did you get the new OLED because you like the grips and whatever?
No, I didn't. I really want to, but no, that's silly.
I will say that the blue and yellow or whatever, like it is growing on me. Oh, I sat there and listened to like the radio people, the pop stars load up the game again. I thought that wasn't a thing. I thought that wasn't a thing. I heard that
you could skip it. Can you not skip it?
Not in this one.
Maybe they won't let you skip it for the Splatfest because I was
pressing all the buttons. I was like a child. Like,
okay, I'm going to be very annoyed if you can't skip that because I'm pretty sure they mentioned that.
I think they did too, but not in the Splatfest. So yeah,
I think that'll be an option. I think maybe for the Splatfest they didn't want people skipping it because they wanted people to understand what was going on.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Caito. Like, I seriously considered asking like a Seth or Andros or somebody like come on this show just to balance me out a little bit this morning, but it's a little early. I think we recorded first thing in the morning, right. So yeah. Well, I've got sun coming up now, so that's kind of nice.
Well, I guess I should mention that Team Rock won the Splatfest, so at least you were on the winning side of things.
I knew we would. Why was anybody questioning me about this?
No one. Okay, I don't think anyone actually thought anything else was going to win.
Oh, I heard all of it.
Everyone's just like, oh, Team Rock is the best, and everyone's going to choose Team Rock.
I heard all of this smack talk.
I can't believe Scissors came in last. How did y'all let Paper beat you?
Was really it you said how does Paper win anything?
Yes. How did y'all let Paper win?
Scissors was up really at halftime too. They did like we're halfway through and here's the thing, and right. Scissors was up and it just upset all the Rock people, which apparently are a bunch of just alphas. You know, they just got in there. Not on my watch.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I figure before we get into the questions, I played a couple things. I played some Animal Crossing, obviously, which I do want to talk about here in a second. Okay. I did play Dinkum.
Yes.
I got my save back. Well, I didn't get my save back. I started a new save. No, that sounded that sounded a lot better than was. No, I started a new save.
Started over. Okay.
And people came over and helped me, and I was able to go to a modded island and pick up a bunch of stuff. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
Just speaking of modded islands, have you seen all the stuff in the Animal Crossing community?
No.
Blowing up with the mods and everything.
Is it like spooky stuff?
No, it's like stuff. So, have you ever seen modded islands in Animal Crossing?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, modding in Animal Crossing is really becoming very popular right now, which is very controversial over on Twitter, especially because it's very much against Nintendo terms of service. And
did we mention we don't get anything from Nintendo before? Did we mention?
And I think because of the laws in Japan, people in Japan have a very different stance on modding and things like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to how we do over here in the States. And so it's very controversial on Twitter. However, I would say leaning more heavily in favor of a bunch of these modded things. So basically what people are doing is if you have a modded Switch, you can insert these files into your game that people are creating, and it's an item replacement. So they're creating new things. So basically, someone created, for example, strawberries that replace the tomato plants, or like a bike with a basket of flowers that replaces the old bike. Like you can create whatever you want, and it replaces an item in the game. So like if I place a snail model down, it's going to look like a basket of apples or whatever that person created, right? So they're also doing a lot of recoloring of the different buildings and stuff. You can move around like your resident services. You can put stuff in water. There's so many different things that you can do that you can't actually do in the game. And
so modding the game, does that mean you have to mod the Switch itself first, or are you able to just mod the game separately?
I think there's a lot of confusion on what modding your Switch actually means, because you're not changing anything about the hardware of your Switch.
For sure.
All you're doing is injecting a software that kind of like temporarily overrides the software that the Switch is using. And so you have to mod your Switch by injecting this software. And the only ones that can be modded are Generation 1 Switches. So everyone's on the hunt for these Generation 1 Switches.
The one I traded in for my OLED, I could sell now for $5,000 to a crazy animal person. Oh my God. Crazy animal person. Animal person. Oh, I saw kangaroos, by the way. Kangaroos are a big deal to me. I think that they're not real animals. I thought that they were men in suits, but yeah, I saw them in real life. Blew my mind. Yep, they were hopping around and everything.
So that's very popular right now.
Yeah. Well, because there's nothing else that you can do. Like everything else is done. You are left with no other options. You are the victim, Caito, here.
And here's my thing. And this is what's frustrating to me is obviously these people who are creating the mods, it takes a lot of work. I'm not undermining the work that goes into it, but it's frustrating to me that over the last week, I've seen like minimum 50 plus new items that have been added.
Yeah.
And you're telling me Nintendo can't give me 5 items a month?
Seriously.
Until the end of time?
Preach
until
it.
the next one?
Yes.
Like, that's so frustrating to me.
Yes.
You can't give me Splatoon items right now?
Yes.
You can't give me... That's so infuriating.
Yes.
And I know everyone's going to say, oh, well, they're working on the next game. Put 2 people on... I mean, literally, one person in the community has created countless items.
Yes, Caito, give in to your hate.
And so
give
now
in to your anger.
Now that I know what's possible,
yes,
it's even more frustrating.
That is what I'm talking about. It's like these games are designed and delivered to people and by people who have never played anything else. It's like we're supposed to be totally ignorant to everything else that every other game is doing better, or people not even a game, like which is what is possible from modders like you're saying. Like, yes, I'm totally on board. Oh my gosh.
And again, I want to clarify that I'm not saying it's not work, and I'm not undermining the amount of work that goes into it.
It's just possible.
But it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo has the money to do it. And that they can do it these people are doing this on their laptops or whatever they have.
Exactly.
At home.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they can just do it at home if they really wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So why can you not? I saw someone say this on Twitter, and I know we've talked about something similar before. Animal Crossing could have been used as the biggest advertisement tool for every single Nintendo game ever to come out.
Yep.
You could advertise every single thing. Yep. Kirby, Mario, Zelda, Splatoon, every title. And you just give us a couple things and we would be like, oh, cool. And some people who don't know about those things would want to know more. Like, hey, what is this thing?
Remember when you could play some of those games in Animal Crossing? Yes. You could set up like your own little arcade. Yeah. Now I'm mad.
So I just want to talk to someone and be like, what is the reasoning here?
Call the Nintendo hotline. So I think I saw you mention this, but I want to talk to you about it. Could Nintendo pull a Sean Capri and say, like, just kidding, we're going to give you another DLC? Like, I said no, but now I'm saying yes.
Right. Could they?
Like, would people be mad?
And it would be immediate forgiveness. No.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think anyone would be mad. I think everyone would be like, oh, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is even more frustrating. It's seriously an unhealthy, toxic relationship.
Yep.
Where the person just comes back and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And you just immediately are, okay, I'll take you back.
Jesse from Breaking Bad. Like, he can't keep getting away with this. Yeah.
Right.
That's the state of Nintendo right now. And we just keep buying it.
I'm really struggling because before all of this happened, and I promise I will stop talking about Animal Crossing in a minute. Before the modding became so popular, I was, again, like you said, blissfully unaware of maybe what was possible or the road it took to get there, because I'm in a Discord where people are talking about it and I am learning about it and I've seen what goes into it. And it's totally different than what I anticipated.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really having a hard time understanding the thought process behind not doing anything.
So you still play Animal Crossing, though. I guess maybe the modding just adds new life into it. Like, but Dinkum is there. There's other things. Like, where are you on with that? Like, you have choices, I guess is what I'm saying. You can do something else.
Well, and I still love Animal Crossing, and I think that's what adds more to the frustration.
Yes.
Is because people are reminding me that, they're working on another game. And while I totally understand that, but I love this game.
Well said.
This is the one that I want them to work on.
Yeah.
And I will be happy when a new game comes out, obviously.
Yeah.
But I love Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I just know it could be so much more. It's like, like when your kid is doing something and they're not trying their hardest. You're just like, I know that you could do this if you would just try. And it's so frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
Because you know what they're capable of. That's how I am right now with Nintendo. Well, I know what you're capable of, and you're just
that's karma for those of us who heard that exact thing. I heard that all the time. And that must have been the worst for my parents. Like, if he just tried a little harder, like he'd be, he'd do a lot better. Yeah. And I'm like, nuts to you, teacher. What do you know?
Right.
I'm not applying myself. I don't even know what that means. I think I'm so smart. I don't even know what the word means. Gosh.
So I may or may not have a modded island, and I may or may not have
cannot deny or confirm.
Confirm or deny said island. But I don't know. That's what's going on in the Animal Crossing community right now. Okay. So
in the kingdom, yeah.
Be sure you keep an eye out.
Will do.
All that. All right. On to the next.
I want to balance things out by saying Xenoblade is one of my favorite games of the year. I feel like I just need to say that. I think, like, yeah,
What are
I
we
think
going to
that
title this
helps.
episode?
I think
Sean
that
and
helps.
Caito complain about everything.
We should start naming these episodes like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh my
We should have time for
gosh.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have some questions. Maybe some of these questions will spark some positivity.
Yeah.
for
Help us, please, anybody.
I'm not feeling very optimistic after reading the first one. Pat asks, do we think we'll get a Nintendo Direct before the end of the year or even in September?
Oh, I think so. You don't think so? I thought this was I think this is a yes. I think we will. I think we definitely will. Lock it down.
Are you sure?
A week after, I'll say this, within 10 days after Splatoon launches, so by the 19th, we will hear an announcement. And it will likely be within like 2 days. It'll likely be like a Monday. It'll be like tune on Wednesday. I'm staring out into the world. I feel like I'm in a special place right now. The mountains are off in the distance. There's a nice haze. The sun is coming up over the mountains. It's a beautiful place. And the world is telling me within 10 days of Splatoon launching, there'll be a Nintendo Direct, and it will tell us there will be a new game coming before the end of the year. And I don't know what that is just yet, but I just wanted to say that right now. But yes, September Direct, mark it down. I'm telling you.
I'm going to say October.
How dare you?
But I'm not confident about it. But I'm just going to do it just in case.
I'm trying to think
say October.
What is after Splatoon? I feel like
Pat also
Pokemon
asked what would be at the top of your wish list for a game reveal.
Oh my gosh. What's on our predictions list? I think I'm going to just revert back to that. Like, what did we predict at the beginning of the year that we haven't gotten right yet?
You predicted ARMS 2.
Oh, I don't want that. No,
That's
that
really
wouldn't be
it that we haven't gotten or they haven't talked
You said
about.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong, yeah.
I don't want
think
Donkey
we're getting
Kong.
that.
You know that really?
No, not this year.
Aww. What about Mario? Like, if I'm thinking like top of my wish list, it's gonna be one of those main Nintendo like franchises: Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong. If I'm gonna go outside of there, this is not something that you would like, but something like F-Zero, I think would be cool. I'd like to know that Star Fox is happening. Oh yeah, Bayonetta is still happening.
Right. And everyone is super hyped about that.
Except me.
Except us. So what would be the top of my wish list is them to say, hey, by the way, we have a 3.0 update coming out for Animal Crossing. And we're going to continue updates monthly after that for the next 5 years.
That would be ridiculous. That'd be huge.
Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
That would be so divisive too, because the Animal Crossing kingdom would be just like elated and everybody else would be like,
are you kidding me?
Yeah. But like there could be a Metroid thing, I think still happen. I think that could happen. I would be lying if I said that's at the top of my personal wish list, but I'd be happy for people who are really excited to get that, and I would probably buy it. But yeah, like if I'm just dreaming without any sense of reality, probably like a Donkey Kong or next Mario game, something like that.
I just feel like at the next Direct, they have to show something about Breath of the Wild. And that's why I'm so unsure about it coming in September.
I think they go the rest of the year without even mentioning Breath of the Wild. Unless,
you think so?
Well, the thing is, we're about to close out a year, which is crazy to think about, but we didn't get wait, when did we play Skyward Sword? Was that last year? That was last year. I don't even know how time works anymore. Yeah, we didn't get a Zelda game this year.
Right?
I
don't think so.
Yeah, no, I want a Zelda. That's top of my list. I want a Zelda game. And if I'm getting ridiculous about it, give me a Link Between Worlds from 3DS. Let's start the 3DS port game over. Let's get some of those games over onto Switch. I want. There's so many good.
I don't even know what I want. Nothing that I want will actually happen. So
yeah, well, yeah.
And I'm fine with that. Like, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Lincoln was playing 2DS the other day, and I literally looked at him and went, like, I'm jealous that you get to play that thing. Like, you don't even know 5-year-old, like, how many good games are on that system.
Right.
3DS is excellent.
Oh, Aiden has been obsessed with the Switch. He wants to play Mario Kart all the time. So if you see me playing Mario Kart, it's not me. It's him. And I mean, it's gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, you cannot play before school. You know, you're going to be limited on your time because he's all about it right now. And do you have any of those things, like some things that he says, I do correct him. I'm like, that's not what it's called. It's called this.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some that are just too cute for me to correct.
Yeah.
And he calls it a troller because he thinks it's a controller.
Mm-hmm.
So he always asks for his troller. And I'm just like, oh, that's too cute. I'm not even going to tell you what it's called because
Ellie calls a computer a pewter. So yeah, I'm right with you.
That's cute.
You're on your pewter. Yeah. Yeah. Never change. Please, God.
Yep.
Yeah. Stay the same forever.
Okay. Next question.
My kids are loving me playing Wave Race, by the way. Like, I feel like I've got my own like two-person Twitch audience. Yeah. They're like, we want Daddy to play Wave Race. And it's been awesome. It's been so much fun. Limited in tracks. There's only like 5 tracks or something that you play on easy, medium, and hard. But I don't even care. This game is on Switch Online with expansion pack, and it's like that's perfect.
They need to make a new Wave Race. Like that would be.
Now we're talking. Yeah,
so good. That's the announcement I want.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah. Next question. Nagachaka asks, now that you've had so much fun trying out Splatoon 3, what's your favorite multiplayer game on the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, see? What is it? I think we were kind of talking about it before. I think it has to be Mario Kart. I feel like that's right. The one that came out on Wii U
has to be Mario Kart.
It has to be.
I mean, Fall Guys is decent on Switch.
Yeah.
But that's not really a Nintendo IP or even their online service, technically, right? Yeah. So it has to be Mario Kart. That's the only one that functions in any normal capacity.
Yeah.
Everything else is absolute garbage online.
Honorable mentions to ARMS. The lobby system is amazing. And I don't even know if I ever played online, but throwback to Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is really fun, at least in a couch co-op scenario. I don't even know if it works online. And if that's specifically the answer or the question that we're answering is it has to be online. But yeah, if it is online, Mario Kart, and it's not even close.
Yeah. Well, and Argo asks, will Nintendo ever have a reliable online service?
At this point, I'm not counting on it. I really thought that paying for the service was going to improve things. Like I was there.
I did too, but I was also aware of the significant price discrepancy in the online compared to other online services. Mm-hmm. And I know people don't want to pay more, but I would pay more if it meant better service.
Yeah, well, then you kind of are. I mean, they've given you the chance to pay more with the expansion pass.
But I don't feel like I count that because that's a different. That doesn't even count as online service to me. That's just like, hey, you can get this other stuff. Mm-hmm. I want to pay. Well, I don't want to pay, but I want the online service like Xbox has.
Pretty much, yep.
But I think Nintendo's issue is they're so concerned with safety that they do all of these strange things.
It's amazing
because they're so worried about it.
Well, and what about you though? Like as a parent, like there is like as a podcaster and as an adult gamer. Oh yeah.
Like if I was worried about his safety, I just would not let him play it online.
But then there's no option. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here because I find I could give the troller from an Xbox, PlayStation, or a Nintendo to my kids, but I just default to Nintendo. And I'm not sure if that's only because the experience is going to be super friendly to them, or if it's the games or a mixture of. But like I have started to understand from a variety of fronts. Like games like Kirby aren't for everybody, but like, man, my kids love Kirby. Or Yoshi's Epic Yarn or whatever it was. Like some of these games that are designed for kids, and maybe this is where Nintendo is trying to have its cake and eat it too, where it's trying to be a system that's family friendly, but also, have games like Bayonetta come out that are rated M, and they're for the hardcore gamers. So they've got to figure out how they're really going to span that spectrum better. Because
why would they not just include that in the parent settings?
That's it. Yeah, you're right. Because it is such
those
a
settings,
right. Mm-hmm.
And then I can just be like, okay,
turn it all off.
This is what you're allowed to do, and this is what you're not allowed to do.
You turn on the settings. It says Nintendo Online circa 2017, or do you want modern Nintendo settings?
Right.
Yeah. Just take out all the stuff like messaging. The fact that you can't message somebody who you see online. We've talked about this, but yeah, like that. I don't know. I don't see it with the current Switch, whatever that even means. I
don't see it ever because they don't want you to message people.
Yeah. So sad.
Which again, I've talked about in the past. It's so hard to find people to play with when you can't communicate in any way unless you know them going in. But then even if you know them going in and you can't team up with them, it's so silly.
Well,
Nintendo is so silly.
But the internet is silly too. And again, I'm going to balance myself out here a little bit because I agree 1,000% with everything you're saying. And I'll be the first to complain about that stuff. But at the same time, the internet doesn't deserve it. Like I think we have a community that is wonderful. But the internet out there is terrible. True. Like there's people out there who just, they say and do things that are brutal. And it's just too bad because I would feel terrible if my kids receive some sort of message like, why are you playing this game? You're awful. And that's like the nicest thing that somebody could be mean about, there's other obviously levels of it, but I want them just to have fun so that it is a cop out to say, just give them nothing at all.
But couldn't you just have it in their profile settings, like that they can't receive messages?
That would be awesome. That's the solution. I'm definitely not going to argue with that.
So they can't receive messages. They can't send messages. Mm-hmm. And so some people can and can't. If you see someone who you can't receive a message, then there's a reason that they can't receive a message. Yeah. But if you're an adult and I'm an adult and I can send you a message.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even if you wanted to allow your kid to use your profile, you could set it to like nothing, like receive nothing. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah. And you could just set it on the profile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't need to do it yet. There's no
incentive to do it because we all just play it anyway.
Best selling system ever. All the games. I just saw a thing that said the Mario 3D All-Stars, that thing that was available for only that 1 year and was just the ROMs dumped on the cartridge, sold 9 million copies. That's insane.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, Nintendo will do whatever they want. That's basically the title of today's episode. Nintendo will do whatever they want.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. So we're going to grab this one from Quagmire, who asks, there are too many games. I'm convinced the gaming economy is currently built upon people buying games they never play. I feel like that's a call out.
Yeah, I feel attacked.
It's not sustainable. Will it crash? If so, when?
I think about this often. I'm not going to lie to you. I would have.
Will it crash? I
thought it would have crashed by now. And things only seem to accelerate. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, but it does seem. I couldn't agree more. What a perfectly succinct way to say it. That the entire economy of games is kind of based on people like us buying games that we don't play. It's the only way that they like. If the economy was based on the number of games that people actually play, there's no way. You would never be able to release so many games. But yeah, we buy games that we either don't play at all or play for very, very limited amount of time.
Well, you know who's not going to be impacted? Well, they will be impacted, but not as severely, is Xbox. Because you don't have to pay for all the games. Right. You just pay for one service. Yeah. And you get access to tons of games. Mm-hmm. So I think if it does crash, I think everyone will be a lot more eager to switch over to that type of system.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Nintendo specifically, I don't know about PlayStation. I don't know enough about their economy or clientele or whatever. I mean, honestly, realistically, when do I think it'll crash is after our generation isn't playing games.
Interesting.
When we're gone, because we're the ones who are so nostalgic about Nintendo because we grew up with it.
Yeah.
So unless we instill that nostalgia with our kids, I think it'll be gone.
That is a really interesting point, and I get a little confused in terms of like, where does nostalgia kind of start, right? And I think we're seeing, I feel like the Garrett Blands of the world, and maybe people who are 10 years younger than you and I, they are nostalgic for, like, really nostalgic for GameCube, and like that is bonkers to me. Like, I just don't like that. That was not what I was playing when I was 12 or 13 years old, which I think is the case for them. So is there a group of gamers who are playing Switch right now for the first time that in 20 years they will be ridiculously nostalgic for Mario Kart 8 or Animal Crossing Horizon? Like, I think it perpetuates. So that's why I'm curious about that notion. Like, are we the last of the gamers, or does it continue to kind of get refilled and refueled, which is in many ways the positive role that Nintendo plays for video games in general, is that it's the safe place for people to start playing games. They don't start with Xbox generally, and they don't start with PC or PlayStation. They start with Nintendo. And as long as Nintendo has a really strong platform or console, you'll get a resurgence of new gamers who will be nostalgic in 20 years and spend a ridiculous amount of money decades later. So that's a crazy economical kind of topic right there.
Right. Well, and there's no way of really knowing because just of the timeline of when gaming started.
Right.
I mean, we haven't really seen that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's it going to be like? Will there be a nostalgia at all? Or do we only have nostalgia because we saw it evolving so significantly over the years?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's
because,
the thing.
How can you be nostalgic for what we have now? I don't know. I just can't wrap my head around that because it just seems so strange to be nostalgic for something that's, the best it's ever been, I guess. Yeah.
Well, and that's just it. Like, it was the best it ever was for us in ways as well. Like, when you played Street Fighter 2 on a Super Nintendo, like, that was the arcade game. Like, that was amazing. It was the fact that we were able to play instead of arcades, like going to, spend our quarters, we had it at home, and we could play it for hours and in the comfort of our own home. That was that version. But you're right. Like, it's how much better, and is part of our nostalgia, having been able to see it go from bips and bops to things like you can see the stitches in Mario's denim now,
Right.
Like, yeah, why nostalgia, I think, is a really interesting.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think about nostalgia for other things. Like, maybe I should ask my parents, like, hey, what are you nostalgic about? Anything? Or should I ask my grandmother, like, hey, is there anything that you're nostalgic about that you see it and you're like, I don't know. You get that feeling. But I just feel like nostalgia is so our generation. Yeah. I just feel like other generations don't feel that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to ask my parents because I'm very curious now.
Do you think like younger and older, like it's just select for us, or you think like older generations aren't nostalgic for?
I feel like mostly older generations aren't.
I'll bet the answer that they'll give you is music.
Okay. Like specific types of music, or or
like going to, or like
players, or
rollerblading. I don't know, like roller skating. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Going to the disco. I don't know.
Well, and it's just hard to think about what do we have now that's going to be phased out in the future. Yeah. Like, to think about things in my childhood, like a VCR, or a cassette player.
Totally.
Like, those are obsolete at this point. Yeah. So like those I would consider, that's nostalgic. Like thinking about all of my VHS tapes, lined up. Yep. So what's going to be obsolete that we have now? we're going off on a whole separate tangent, but it's interesting.
I'm looking for a used car because we just have the truck for us that I'm doing the podcast in right now. But I'm kind of, now that the world is open back up, I think we need a second car. But I'm looking for something super old and like very, very inexpensive. And some of the ones that have popped up have like the CD players, like the aftermarket decks,
right?
That you'd have plug in, like that. They would have Bluetooth built in, maybe. So I'm a little nostalgic for that. And also in marketplaces, I'm looking for circa 2002 cars, which are 20 years old. Oh my gosh, these things. Those old like boom boxes, like 5 disc changers, 200 watt, just gigantic.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my, they were so loud. They're amazing. I used to have I would blast music so loud. So that's nostalgic for me. In addition to video games. Since nobody asked.
Interesting. We might have to revisit this question because I like this question a lot. So, okay. I think we need to wrap it up here, Sean. So where can everyone find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Sean Capri, at Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. And when I return home, we'll be back playing games on Saturday at youtube.com/carpoolgaming.
And you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Console Caito. That is all for episode 70 of the Nintendo Drive. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, make sure you let us know what you're nostalgic about, and also leave any complaints in the comments because that's all me and Sean did today.
The Nintendo Drive is fueled by patrons at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. And from the bottom of my heart, I am so thankful to the nearly 90 patrons who support us each and every month. Especially our ultimate producers, Tony Baker from Quest for Pixels at youtube.com/quest4pixels. Dallas Ford, the co-host of The Blame Game. You can support Dallas on YouTube and get these guys to 100 subs. Emily O'Kelly, Trucker Sloth, Johnathan Brown with his new album In My Element on Spotify and Apple Music. Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team, and Skinny Matt, who hosts Carpool Gaming Community Game Nights. Please follow him at twitch.tv/SkinnyMattK. All the notes for these ultimate producers are in the show notes. Click on every single one and support them because they support us at this ridiculous level. Platinum producers, Brendan Myers, Marcus McCracken, Becky Rubin Navarro, and RJ Kern. And all of our gold members, Anna, Argo, Cecily Carrozza, Dallas Robbins, Drellish, Foolish Fuji, Jose Jimenez, Marcus O'Neill, Nagachaka, The Snack Network, and Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots. If you'd like to support the show, please go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and choose the tier that's right for you.